Russell Brand and Marlon Brando. Two incredible people, very, very well liked by many. Also, both were champions of the underdog, of the average poor guy, okay? That is being taken over and screwed by a few real big shots to get away with anything they feel like, okay? And Russell Brand is out there trying to make people aware of this. And he talks about stuff like, I love everybody and everybody's great, and if a fly comes into my house, I tolerate the little rascal. And he cuddles the women, and at the end of the show, he says, "Give me a cuddle." And he talks about how he's this little chap when he was young, and he's so charming, and he's funny, and he's a brilliant guy. He just spews out stuff, but he never says anything. Marlon Brando, on the other hand, was a brilliant man who was incredibly talented. Listen to him. Listen to him. Interviewed by Cavett.
These things?
Cavett.
Well,
Here, listen to Marlon.
they say that it's the squeaky hinge that gets the grease, and the blacks would still be shuffling around picking peanuts and dying and starving. Of course, they haven't been all that much improved. If they hadn't made that noise, if they hadn't made that racket, somewhere there's some person out there that tells us, just be quiet, be calm, everything will right itself, and everybody will get their just desserts, but it never happens.
It never happens.
It,
Okay? And what they're doing now is the cops are shooting black people and getting away with it every time. Just killing them, strangling this guy Eric Garner in Staten Island. He was standing on the sidewalk minding his own business, all by himself. And 5 cops, white cops, attacked this black guy and strangled him. And this crazy guy in Ferguson, Wilson, he stopped his vehicle where Michael Brown was standing in the middle of the street, told him to get on a sidewalk. That's what he says. Okay, I don't know why I would believe anything he says, actually. But anyway, he takes out his own gun and shoots him dead. And he's shot dead 20 feet away from his car. Not struggling for the gun. Okay? And so it doesn't matter. You can't understand that the guy's over there 20 feet away laying in the street for 4 hours. They just let him. Wait a minute, if it's such a big deal to this cop that he would shoot this guy because he's in the street, but he lets him lay in the street after he guns him down 8 shots 20 feet away. Okay? And then he comes up with this bullshit that they were struggling over the gun. I mean, how stupid and ridiculous can it get before any of you people in America, you hypocrite screwballs, who are being led around in a trance by the media? Now, Russell Brand is trying to rectify that with his cute little things, like the fly came in his house and he lets him fly around like a little rascal, okay? So that means, he's a nice guy and he's a vegetarian. He doesn't eat meat and he lets the fly come in and fly around, right? But here's the problem with Russell Brand. There wasn't a problem with Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando actually had remedies for this terrible injustice. But Marlon Brando would flip out if he knew about all these cop murders now. Okay? I mean, Jesus, they haven't made progress because Martin Luther King had a march in Selma and he got a law. They don't care about signing laws. They don't care about laws or the Constitution. They do whatever they want to do. And we're just suckers because they tell us that we're a nation of law. So I just want you to understand that Russell Brand had me completely conned and lured in, okay? And I fell right for it because he sounded so spectacular. And then he talked about how he believed that Bush might have been, he's not sure exactly, guilty because he doesn't know the evidence like I do, okay? That he might have been guilty of the World Trade Center, 9/11, because he was friends with the Bin Laden family, which proves absolutely nothing, okay? And he doesn't want to talk about the actual facts that were filmed. The whole crime is filmed. It's like we don't have to guess at any of it. We could see it. We could see the fire. And if the fire was hot enough from the top of the building to make the building come crashing right all the way down to the street and blast all the thousands of beams were caught and laying in the street and laying on top of these other buildings that were pretty far away from the towers. How did they get there? How come the beams just didn't come straight down with gravity? Just like anything comes down with gravity, okay? But no, they flew. So now they get this mathematician to study and figure out mathematically how fast the beam was going when you could see the beam fly out. And he's going to take this one beam and check the speed of it with 70 miles an hour. Who cares? What if it was 90 miles an hour? What if it was 40 or 50 miles an hour? What difference does it make? It landed all over in these places, far away from the World Trade Center. Something had to explode those, otherwise they would just drop. If it was just the heat of the fire that they claimed from the jet fuel, they would drop. Okay? They wouldn't fly. You have to have some power to make things fly. You know? Like if you just drop a baseball, it doesn't have the velocity as if you pitched it at 98 miles an hour into the catcher's glove and make it curve too. Okay? Which overcomes gravity that God created. You understand? So the beams overcame gravity and they flew and landed on top of these buildings and all over the place in all directions. And that's the proof. It's not about whether Bin Laden is friends with Bush. That isn't proving any of it. And that's what Russell Brand doesn't understand. Or if he does understand it, he understands how to make me completely a sucker for his nonsense. Because I know the evidence. And so I know that Bush did it. Based on the evidence, not on whether he liked Bin Laden or not. Or his family. That doesn't prove anything. And that's the point. That I believe, boy, listen, this Russell Brand, he has millions of hits on these YouTubes. And I'm lucky if I get 100. Okay? Because you people don't understand what I'm talking about. In plain, simple English. You don't want to understand it. Okay? You want to not know that Bush did it. And that he needs to be prosecuted as a criminal with his whole gang of criminals that were involved, including the media that covered it up. Okay? They're part of the conspiracy. Well, boy, I'm telling you, we're talking about a huge conspiracy that they all voluntarily got into. Okay? In other words, this is a gigantic mass murder that these people who are supposedly smart and educated and write in the New York Times and the Washington Post, and they're on CBS and NBC and ABC and CNN, and people listen to them, and they claim that they're telling you the truth, that they're reporting the truth when they're covering up everything. Okay? They're bogus as could be. And Russell Brand doesn't understand any of it. Or if he does, because he's 10 times smarter than I am, he isn't explaining it at all, including these other people, Richard Gage and all these people involved that are engineers and architects and chemists and mathematicians and absolute geniuses with degrees. But they can't explain what happened so people could understand the simple facts. And there was no doubt about it. You understand? So why we don't want to know what happened, though? I mean, because we're ignorant hypocrites. That's why we don't want to know. And that's a big problem, okay? And Russell Brand is creating the problem. He's not alleviating the problem. Even if he doesn't want to kill the fly, the little rascal that came in his house. And he's a nice guy. And he does. And I'm sure he is. I don't even question it, okay? He means well. And he's funny. He's got the Cockney accent. He talks, about the cuddling, and he was this little guy, and he's a good old bloke, and he's a good mate, and blah, blah, blah. And he talks a mile a minute, okay? And the girls like him, and that's good. And he's a big star, and that's great. But he needs to find out what happened so he can explain it, because those people will listen to him. They won't listen to me because I don't make you laugh, because I don't want to make you laugh. First of all, I want you to be serious and understand what's going on to completely screw everybody, except Bush and his buddies. Okay? We're going to let them get away with it. We don't want them to be prosecuted and found guilty and be punished for what they did, for how they wrecked and murdered millions in Iraq and Afghanistan. And they don't want to talk about the numbers about these guys that have come back here wounded, okay? We just want to talk about the wounded warriors. How many? How many? What's the number? 30,000. Just pick a number, okay? 30,000. There's a number. There's a real number, okay? Why isn't it accurate? Why don't people, well, tell me what it really is. Don't just throw out 30,000. Okay? I want to know what it is. I don't care. Whatever it is, period. So, if it's 20,000, or 18,426, or 59,434. So what? What difference does it make? Just say the truth, okay? We know exactly what it is. I mean, these people are being treated for serious physical and mental problems that were created because they were in this war that Bush cooked up with 9/11. Okay, and that's his intention. That's what Paul O'Neill revealed in his book, that he said was the price of loyalty. Who's he loyal to? Why isn't he loyal to the American people as the Secretary-Treasurer of this country? Huh? Why should there be any doubt about it, any question in his mind who he should be loyal to? The price of loyalty. Yeah. So he clammed up. But Marlon Brando never clammed up. Marlon Brando was for real. See? And he was a good man. A great man, actually. There's not too many Marlon Brandos around. And Russell Brand is a long way from Marlon Brando. But I hope he becomes a guy with real balls, okay? And a mile a minute. No, let's hear what really happened and get 10 million hits on your YouTube, because it's true. And they'll know, because I'll explain it to Russell Brand. So he'll know absolutely. He's a smart guy. Thank you, and have a good day and a good night.